My salams, my salams, my salams, everybody. So I had a very long conversation with someone last night, and I helped her to arrive at a powerful conclusion, and I'm sharing it because, Bismillah, because I really hope that I help you. If you're not already at this place, I hope I help you to arrive at this place with these words. And by the end of our conversation, the place that she had arrived in her mind, which is important because wherever you are with your mindset is how you behave. So you always got to work on changing mindset first. That's why one of the reasons why I'm a mindset coach is because I love helping women arrive at a place in their mind and in their heart where they truly see their value and their worth, and they are not compromising on those two things. So where the place that I helped her get to is, this is a beautiful place. I hope I do this video justice. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in his infinite love for us, grace, mercy, wisdom, teaching, because he is a master teacher. He's our master teacher. Really, really has taught Muslim women how to set boundaries and standards with men. All men, especially with the men that we choose to marry. He's taught us how to do it. It's in the Quran. If you just read it on a regular basis, you will see it. Especially in Surah Nisa. If you read Surah Nisa, which is called Women, the surah is called Women. There's other surahs too, but that's one of my favorite surahs. But anyway, so there's so many ways that he's taught us how to set boundaries and standards with men. One of the first ways is even in the way we dress. We are taught to dress modestly. We are taught to cover our bodies because our bodies are sacred. They are not for the lust and gaze of all Tom, Dick, and Harrys that happen to come into our presence. And we are telling men by just the way we dress that we are serious women, we are righteous women, we are God-conscious women, we are God-fearing women. And anytime you are in my presence, you must treat me in that way. And that is the treatment that I receive from any man who comes into my presence, just by the way that I'm dressed. There's no flirting, there's no sexual tension, energy in the air, there's no lustful gazes, there's no, and I've even asked men this question, there's no lustful thoughts. There's not sexualizing me. There's just a level of respect. There's a boundary that I'm setting with him from day one. One of the things that my husband said to me that I will never forget, and this video is probably going to be long because I really want to delve deeply into this. I'll never forget this. When I met my husband, I was covering my body. I was wearing hijab. And he told me after we married that I was the first woman that he had ever been out with or courted that he didn't look at in a sexual way. And that was because I was covered, because my body was covered. So that gave him an opportunity to really, really get to know me, to want to get to know my mind, my heart, my personality, my character, my relationship to God. That took that off the table. He knew there was not going to be any intimacy until marriage. So that's number one, how Allah has taught us to set a boundary with men. There's so many things. Second thing is when a man even approaches you we don't date. There's no dating. That's off the table. No dates. There is courtship for marriage. And even in this beginning of him trying to court you for marriage, he's supposed to ask your father first. He's supposed to contact your father first to make sure that it's okay for him to court you for marriage. Your father is holding him accountable. Remember I told you men need accountability from other men? I don't know why they're wired that way, but men need accountability from other men. So if he is even willing to approach your father and tell your father, I'm interested in your daughter, it is showing you that he's serious about the possibility of getting to know you for marriage purposes only, not for intimacy. Second, third, I don't know which boundary that is, but that is setting a standard, that is setting a boundary right off the bat. Intimacy off the table, right? He's going to have a higher level of respect for you because you're different. He can't just date you, right? He can tell even from how you're covered, he can't just date you. So you're setting yourself apart from all the other women that maybe he has, he shouldn't be doing that either, but that's a whole nother issue. Y'all know. That he will not have access to you, your body, or anything unless he is serious about this process of courting for marriage. Now, the courting for marriage may or may not work. That's fine. But you've already set the standard for yourself that that's what you're worth, right? So once you guys get through the part of the courtship where you're actually ready for marriage, I told you marriage is a contract in Islam, you get to outline the details of the contract in Islam. He has to give you a dowry, right? And that could be $1 to $1 million or whatever you decide it is. It could be a Quran. It could be anything you want it to be. But that is showing his seriousness, his commitment to providing for you and protecting you, right? And it could be anything. Everybody has different standards. Some people say it should be based on his income, whatever. I'm not going to get into the details of that. But that's setting a standard right off the bat. If you want to marry me, you have to agree to this contract because he's going to sign it. You're going to sign it. You have to pay me a dowry. You have to give me a dowry, right? Some people ask for things like they want a Hajj. They want him to pay for their Hajj or whatever. So that's between you and him to decide. That's for you. I personally think that one of the reasons why Allah set the dowry up is because in the event that marriage doesn't work, you still have a cushion. You have some money. You have something, and he has to, that's another thing, which there's a surah about divorce in the Quran, which is deep, but that he has to take care of you for a certain period of time, even after the divorce, right? But his role is to provide and protect for you. That's setting a boundary right there, because if you want to be with me in an intimate way, you have to do all of these things, right? He's going to have to work pretty hard to even be with you. Remember I told you men value the things that they work really, really hard for? Right? So that's you showing him your value, and that's him agreeing that yes, this woman is very, very valuable. Right? What else? Ugh, I don't want to forget, and emails are coming in distracting me. I'm getting ready to go into the office. It's not gonna be that long. But also there are verses in the Quran where Allah says to men to be kind to their wife, right? That's setting a standard of expectation for his behavior towards you, that he has to be kind to you. I was blown away even when I read a verse that said even before he approaches you in an intimate way, he should do an act of kindness for you, right? Because God knows women. He knows we're emotional, right? For us, it's more, that act is more emotional than it's physical, right? And so even that, he's supposed to do something to show you kindness even before that, right? Not only, of course, paying bills and making sure you have food, clothing, and shelter, all those things have to be taken care of. But I really believe that the more we adhere to the guidance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us as women, I believe this guidance is to really help us to see our value and be able to not just articulate our value to men, because I don't really think, this is bad to say, but I don't think men listen to women's words. I think how we teach men is through our actions and our behavior. And so what God is showing us is that just from your behavior, from your actions, you're showing him your value. I don't have to scream at him, this is my value, value me, right? Because he probably is not going to get that message. Right? It's the way that you behave. It's your actions that show him this is a valuable woman, and I have to treat her with high regard, and I have to value this commitment that I'm making to her, right? There is nothing else. There is no intimacy before I commit to all of these things to do for this woman. And like I told you guys before, having the men in your life, the Muslim men in your life that you trust through this process will help him to also be held accountable for the commitment and to really, really value the commitment that he's planning to make with you. So is there anything else I want to include? I'm sure I'm going to miss something. And this I may have to do a part 2. But with that, guys, I'm going to sign off. I send you guys love and peace as always. And I'll talk to you guys the next time I'm inspired. My salams.